we start the meeting today, we're going to have a pledge. The pledge is going to be led by Fran Schommel, and we're going to have an invocation. That invocation is usually given by a member of the clergy from Connersville, or it can be from any place. If you would not like to take part, I don't know if that's good English, if you would not like to take part, is that okay?
Participate. You don't have to participate.
If you don't want to participate,
there you go.
He's older than I am. If you don't want to participate in the invocation, it is certainly fine. Nobody is forced to. And if at any time you would like to have somebody come here to do the invocation, or if anybody that's listening to me would like to do the invocation, we invite all religions to come in and offer, and we'll sign you up. Whether or not you participate in the invocation will have no bearing on the business that you've come here to take care of today. So with that, I will call the meeting to order. And first order of business will be Fran Schommel will lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have the honor of having Pastor John Lundy. Pastor John, I don't remember what church you're from.
Divinity Range Bible Center.
Okay, if you'll just step right up to the podium there and offer our invocation.
I want to thank everybody for allowing me to be here this afternoon. I'll make it short and brief so you guys can get on with your meeting. I do have just a small scripture I wanted to share with you. 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 28. It says, "And God hath set some in the church, first apostles, secondarily prophets, thirdly teachers, after that miracles, then gifts of healing, helps, governments, diversities, and tongues." Shall we pray? Dear Father, our Lord and Savior and Heavenly Host, I lift you up this day amongst the people you have put in position of our local government, seeing and understanding their positions as a gift ordained by you. I pray, Lord, that you will make yourself present during this meeting and to guide each individual with every decision made to better our city for your glory and honor. I thank you, Lord, for giving me the opportunity to be here and to open this meeting with dedication to you. Please bless each and every person present today, God. Bless our city and those in governing positions to run the city. We ask this all in the name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
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 Thank you. Thank you. Very nice. Thank you.
We appreciate you coming. You're welcome to stay and put up with the whole thing, or you can.
Well, I've got people waiting on
I know.
other appointments, so I thank you for allowing me to be here.
Thank you. Okay. Our first order of business will be roll call.
Jane Oakley. Present. Fran Schommel.
Present.
Leonard Urban.
Present.
Mike Bishop.
Present.
Ron Coldiron.
Present.
All are present. We have a quorum. We can do business. If everybody would please shut off the ringers on their telephones, put them on silent or vibrate. We will have the reading of the minutes of the last meeting and all subsequent call meetings. I think we had a call meeting in between. We didn't? Okay. Do you have the other call?
what?
Where's my cord? Okay. All right.
Your Honor, I read the minutes and making a move that we accept them as stated for April 1st, 2013.
I'll second.
I have a motion to accept the minutes as they were sent out to the board members. Are there any additions or corrections? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay. First thing would be Kelly Luke. Is she here? All right. What's all this in? Okay. I guess my packet's out of order. We have approval to Berry Fiber Optic, One Point Construction, Joss Miller.
How do you do?
How you doing?
Welcome back.
I have a letter here from Bill McDaniel where you're asking me to talk to the area plan.
Okay, does everybody have a copy of this?
No, I was the only one here.
Okay.
He said he didn't have much that.
It says that it doesn't require a plan. need to grant permission in the right-of-ways if we want to do that. And determine if there's any financial security required. Is there a deposit required, John?
Traditionally, that's required.
Okay, I want you to look at that if you're the
Determine
person.
an amount. I didn't know the scope of the project. Do you have that?
It's in there, that's the cover sheet of the prints, along with the state right-of-way permit numbers.
Where'd this come from?
It goes down in there, yeah, but it's down in
Thank you.
What are we looking for?
there.
Okay.
Let John kind of look at that and see here what he wants to do, Joe.
Okay.
Could you explain,
You won't
Mayor,
have that.
Your Honor, what are you asking?
We're wanting to bury a
Well, you
fiber
weren't here, he presented this last time. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, we're wanting to install a fiber optic line to support a cell tower up on 350 Oak Street. And we're gonna be leaving the railroad right away at 2nd Street and Grand Avenue and directional ward through city right away to get to that location.
So you're going to underground bore?
Yeah,
Okay.
under sidewalks throughout the project.
You take it.
Go ahead.
I question, performance bond, the project you finished that we talked about last week?
Yes.
Last meeting, last year. Did you have a performance bond for that?
Not with the city because we were on the railroad right away
Okay, and you didn't have one with them,
with,
with the railroad, with
no.
Whitewater Valley?
We paid I'm not sure of the amount, but we paid them for a right-of-way use. It's basically an easement
Okay.
through there.
And is NDOT requiring a performance bond for 44?
No.
They fix those holes you were talking about.
So he's gonna be working in the city streets, is that
Good.
your understanding? You're gonna be working in the city streets?
City right-of-way.
Well,
yes.
what about the streets themselves?
The streets we should not be doing it unless we're spotting an existing line.
In the past, I heard conversation about
We were in the
streets
street
being worked
over on
on.
Grand Avenue. In front of the fire station, you were in the street.
Yes, I crossed underneath the street, yes.
Mr. Job, are you here?
He was here.
David? Joe?
He was here.
He's outside. He's outside. You were in the street, I went over and looked. Right in front of Reedman Motors, there was a square hole,
Yes,
and then on the other side of the street, there was another square hole. I don't know if you went under Grand
I
Avenue.
did. What we did was we were spotting water lines, existing water lines there.
So you have to cut a hole to do that?
Yeah, we do a 2x2 cut,
Okay, well, how many of those cuts were made along Grand Avenue?
6.
Okay, those are the ones I had a problem with, but he since tells me that he's fixed them.
Yes, I have. I've spoke with Bill, every man about it.
Bill?
He's looked at them.
You inspected them?
Yes, there were six cuts total.
6, yes.
And they had a professional company come in and mill them down and compact them and they're repaired.
Okay, but they were in the street, right?
They were all in the street.
Are there gonna be any such cuts in the street in this new project?
I won't know until we have locates.
Well, I think that's what Mr. Baker's getting at. Are there gonna be?
Yeah, we'll have to determine whether or not financial surety is required. And some amount will be depending on whether or not you're gonna be cutting in city streets and doing any work on city streets and potential damage to city streets and other aspects of the city owned property. And as soon as you can give us some idea of that, I'll determine from our insurance carrier what amount of surety should be required, and we can let you know. And I think the Board of Works can probably give you permission to use the right-of-way subject to that surety being provided, based upon
A
an amount
conditional
that we
approval.
determine. Yeah. We'll have to have a document showing that it in fact has been acquired and the amount, and naming the city as the surety, or the indemnified entity, but I'll have to determine the amount once I get a little more information
We'll
from
have to have a certificate of
Well,
insurance.
Yeah, I have a
Okay.
certificate. I've emailed it to Bill. He has a copy of it. I'll provide it in a
You
package.
emailed it to Bill Ammerman?
I did.
Okay. You have the certificate of insurance.
I do have it, but honestly, I haven't viewed it yet.
I guess, board, then we can approve that if you want to, pending him getting everything taken care of with Mr. Baker.
There was gonna be multiple cuts, weren't they? Borings? And there-
Not necessarily in the street. Most of it will be in the sidewalk. So there'll be a lot of concrete sidewalk repair.
And this is all
I
gonna be,
can, once I get the locates, if you folks say I can be in your right of way, I'll call the locates out. I can go and do a walkthrough of the job. We can then decide how many cuts we're gonna have, sidewalk, asphalt, and then.
And I think that's what John wants to do.
Yeah, I need to know that.
You'll get a copy of that insurance to us.
Should I just work with Bill then, once I do get?
Well, providing this board approves this today. Are you guys satisfied?
Sounds like we need to approve the locates and then do a final after he kinda shows us where they're going, is what it sounds like to me.
What the locates were on the map? Aren't the locates on the map?
That's just, it's showing our path.
Okay.
Is what we'd like to take. And that path can change due to, if you folks have a water line or something, we move the other side of the street.
But you didn't have that in your packet. You should have. Did they have that in their packet? They
He just
didn't?
brought it.
Okay.
I brought one last week too. Same thing.
So you're telling me, Ron, you'd rather not approve it today, conditionally approve it, or you would?
Well, I think if, you say you're gonna have to do some preliminary work before you actually know where you're cutting, is that not right?
Exactly. Yes.
So, just giving the approval to do his preliminaries and then come back with his definitive cuts.
Sounds like a good idea to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd recommend that to your
Y'all put that in the
consideration.
form of a motion?
Yes.
I'll second.
Word it so Julie could get it here.
I'm sorry.
Word your motion so she can put it down.
We will give Mr. Josh Miller the approval to do a preliminary locate on his proposed sidewalk cuts or borings, and a final approval after review of those. Is that good?
Good.
And financial assurance.
Yes. Yeah, well, yeah, I thought you'd done that.
Yeah, we'll get that in the motion. Okay, you've heard the motion, you still want to second it?
Yes, sir.
And a motion, a second, that okay with you, Mr. Baker?
Yes, sounds good.
Okay, I'll have a roll call vote.
Jane Oakley,
Yes.
Frank Schomel.
Yes.
Leonard Urban.
Yes.
Mike Bishop.
Yes.
Ron Coldiron.
Yes.
Okay, so you know what you need to do.
Sure. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Want this back?
No, that's yours. That's
Okay.
Thank you.
Ms. Lynch? For Bucket Drive,
Nancy Foster, Mayor.
I think Nasty Foster's not coming.
No, she was my stand-in.
Okay,
I didn't make it.
You step back in.
I'm Bertie McKenna.
How do you,
okay,
how
I thought,
are
I
you?
got here Ms. Lynch was coming.
Well, that all changed when I was able to come.
Okay.
They
That's
had
good.
a backup. She had a medical emergency with her mother-in-law, so I got another backup.
That's fine.
That's all right, you go ahead and present it.
Okay, for Relay for Life, all of us, Nancy, Jana, we're the Holy Springers from the Springersville Church. That's our team, and we want to do a bucket drive, and we would like to do it on the 25th from 8 till 2, and we'd like to do it at 6th and Grand and 24th and Grand.
It's May 25th, I don't think you said May, so.
Oh,
put that
okay.
in there for you.
It is May the 25th.
Right.
This one, so.
That's available. It's available, folks, if you want to do
I
it.
move we accept, give permission for the bucket drive on the 25th of May from 8 to 2 at the 2 locations for Relay for Life, the Holy Springers Group.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
We're done.
That's it?
That's it?
Wait,
It's
actually, we gotta do
Yeah,
this.
well, let me take care of that.
Okay.
We've had a little problem about not wearing the vest on the street.
Yes.
And you probably won't do it, but we had some kids in the street here a couple of weeks ago. They're only allowed 2 people in the street, and they must have a vest on, and they must have the cone,
Yeah.
because that's what the city insurance requires.
We done it last year.
Yeah, so
for
you know how to
Relay,
do
and
it.
We done it.
Yeah, I keep telling them, it's his place to enforce it. We just tell you about it, and then he enforces it. But he doesn't want to work on Saturday.
Well, if it wasn't so hot, a suit of armor might be appropriate out there.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Stuff in the street department.
Thank you.
Approval to use the Vistion parking lot defensive driving on June the 15th, Chamber of Commerce, Katrina Bailey.
On June 15th, the Chamber of Commerce will be sponsoring a defensive driving school for young drivers. We are accepting the first 20 drivers, and the charge is $75. And the Sports Car Club of America is the ones who will be training these students. And I need permission to use the old Vistion parking lot for that course. And also, they need to use a room in the Vistion building. And
It's a classroom.
a classroom, and it's going to be June the 15th from 7:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. so that everybody can still go to Duck Dynasty.
Just a Saturday.
It's a Saturday, yes. They're, not to jump the gun on you, but they're requesting the same thing for June the 16th.
And we could take both those issues together. On June the 16th, they're going to do their race like they have every year for the last 4 years on that lot. It's the Lions Club in conjunction with them. I think it works pretty good. That's Father's Day.
Mm-hmm.
They do it in conjunction with the Father's Day celebration.
Which portion is it, Katrina? Is it the front portion?
No, the whole north lot.
Has that been swept lately?
No, we sweep it just before they do it.
Okay. How about liability? They cover liability?
They gave us a certificate of insurance.
All I've got. Thank you very much.
I make the motion to accept the approval for the chamber to use the Vistion parking lot on June 15th and 16th, 7:30 to 3 o'clock for the defensive driving school.
And you include the 22nd too, so we don't have to do this again.
And the
Or-
22nd.
The 16th. Oh, and the 22nd, yeah.
Okay.
I'll second you.
Got a second? Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Donna Schroeder, cemetery tours, April the 19th and 20th.
No, that's just me.
Hi.
Hi, Donna.
Let me say something before Donna says this. Anybody can go in that cemetery and tour anytime they want to, and they're covered by insurance. But when we have an official tour, someone is sponsoring it and taking a group in there, in order to cover the liability insurance on that group, we have to approve it here at this board meeting. And it's a kind of formality, but that doesn't prohibit any group from walking down the street and walking in anytime they want to. It's a public place. But the fact that she is organizing a group and taking it in there, we have to approve it.
And that will be, well, now that we've heard about all this rain, we don't really know if we're going to be there on the 19th. The plan on the 19th was to take the 7th graders from the middle school through there. And it's kind of in conjunction with Elmhurst reenactment.
So that's the morning.
So, pardon?
In the morning?
Yes, we would be there in the morning. And now you would need a list of our tour guides, right?
John, do we need a list of tour guides or volunteers, or?
Oh, they're rostered volunteers. They need to be listed and given to our insurance carrier.
Okay, just give them to Jay, or Brad Wilson.
Okay. Then, but as far as the 7th graders, we don't have to do that, right? I want to clarify
They're
that.
guests.
Yeah, so if it rains, we'll just be doing the presentation at the middle school instead of taking them through there. Then on the 20th, or the 21st, again, we're just looking at the weather. We'd like to do another tour for the public too.
Okay, you have the 19th and 20th, but I don't see it. You want to do the 21st too?
Possibly. It's going to depend on the weather. If you'll put us down tentatively for all 3 days, and then, you know, because we can't do a tour if it's raining. But the focus this time will be on the Civil War soldiers who are buried in the city cemetery. And the Canal House will be open. Again, we're kind of going with whenever the cemetery tours are. We had planned on on the 20th. But we're just kind of playing it by ear until we see what this weather does. And while I'm here, I'd like to thank Mr. Coldarn for loaning Historic Connersville some equipment that we used, because I want to invite everybody to come and see the Canal House this weekend. We've done a lot of redecorating in there and rearranging. It's very pretty. So anyway, I guess that's all I need to ask for today, so.
Okay, she'd like to use the, I have cemetery tours 19, 20, and possibly 21st. If we give permission for that, that clears her on being covered with insurance.
So moved.
Have I got a second?
Second, please.
Got a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Are you doing the restoration of stones too? Who's doing that?
Well, I'm on that committee. I don't know if is there anybody else here?
No.
Okay, so what do you want to know?
Well, we gotta get permission for the restoration of stones. I guess we need to know who's doing it.
Kelly Luke.
Kelly Lou.
Kelly Lucas.
This paper will take care
Oh,
of it.
that was in the front of my folder.
There you go.
Okay. Is there any question on this? No.
He's done it the last
Yes, he
4
has.
years
He
probably.
has.
This is basically the same
I guess
contract we've had with him.
we'll need a certificate of insurance from him too,
We
right,
have
John?
one.
I think
There's one
it's there.
attached.
Oh,
I had him bring one in when he dropped with the contract.
okay, I see it. What's your pleasure?
Just 35 stones, $4,500,
I think it comes on the cemetery fund.
It does.
about $125 per stone. So I'll make a motion that we accept the proposal from Kelly Luke to restore 35 tombstones at the city cemetery for $4,500.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you for that too, 'cause
Thank
I
you.
think that'll take care of some of the vandalism that's been,
Oh,
some of the stones that have been vandalized, so. Thank you.
thank you.
See.
Connersville Bicentennial Financial Report, Mike Sparks. I guess Pam Parrott did. Go ahead, Mike.
Good afternoon.
Oh, no.
The mayor told me after one of our previous meetings, somebody said, what's the matter with him? He doesn't talk as long as he used to, so how many hours would you like today?
We've allowed
5 minutes.
2 minutes and 5
2 minutes and you're down to a minute.
Okay. Well,
Clock's ticking.
I was somewhat kidding.
Thank you.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
That's not one too.
A couple things. You should have the list of our bicentennial events and activities list. And if you compare it to last time, you see that has grown by 2 pages just in the last few weeks. It will grow further. We're up to 14 pages now. We have added some entertainment options along with kind of redefining and in some cases just better defining things that were already on that list. So just to give you a real brief thing before we get on into the financial side, Ed and I were just kind of comparing notes down at headquarters a few minutes ago. Besides the 8 contracted events, entertainment events that we already have, if we add the others that are really kind of buried in our individual day budgets, we right now are looking at 19 different entertainment activities, groups of entertainment of one sort or another. I'm pretty confident in saying I don't believe there's ever been a time in our history at any point that I've ever read about where there will be a celebration in this community that involves as many different activities over a 10-day period, entertainment options of all sorts along with all the other things that are going on. So to say that it's going to be a unique summer and an interesting summer for residents not only of Connersville, but we are getting an increasing amount of interest through the onlines and through Facebook. I got an email the other day from a lady in northern Indiana that was wanting to know about Neil McCoy. How soon could she buy tickets and what were they going to cost? Because she loved him, she'd seen him several times, and she was coming to Connersville. And we're not even advertising it yet. So I'm assuming that had to have come through Facebook. So the interest is there, and does anybody have any questions about the events and activities?
Most of them musical, Mike, or most of the entertainment musical, or can you describe some of them?
Several, well, the major contracted ones are musical entertainers. We do have some things that we have now contracted for kids. There's one called Radio Disney. That is actually a combination of music and on-stage entertaining for mostly little kids, obviously, with a Disney twist. So yeah, it's a lot, everything from bluegrass, the radio station, and Mike Selke have played a big part in providing some of our entertainment for the 4th of July. We do have, on another evening, we have 4 different bluegrass groups performing. We've got, of course, Neil McCoy is a whole different type of entertainment, but again, musical. That'll be probably one of our biggest headlining outfit. That's the one that we're getting a lot of interest on from out of town already. So actually, if you put it all together, the Dulcimers will be here. There's really almost anything you can think of.
A laser light show?
Yeah, the laser, yeah. I wasn't even thinking in terms of that, but yeah, laser light
That's
show
not
downtown.
musical.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's not, is it?
Well, it's certainly entertainment, yeah. Well, actually, there will be some music with that. And a
That'll
lot
be
of
over here
visuals.
on the parking lot.
Yeah, yeah. So when you combine that with all the activities that are going on downtown, a lot of kids things, a lot of stuff going on in the park, you know, we're kind of spread out from one end to the other during that 10 days. That's why we're going to use various means to put out a lot of information so folks will have flyers and online information as to what's going on a given day. And it is definitely something that there is truly something going on every day, and we think just for everybody's interest. So anyway, it's growing, and that's why that list went to 14 pages. And if you notice up the top, still has that same disclaimer. We are adding, altering, making changes. So that list, I'm confident, will continue to grow and get larger as we define and redefine. You know, we're trying to hone in at this point on extreme detail of what's going on with each activity. And one of the things we're in the process of formulating right now is, you may have wondered, what happens if somebody gets sick on a given day, or, you know, what happens with the celebration? We have backup plans that we are now formulating. Those backup plans include backup people. It includes the who, what, when, where, details of contact information, who is there, when, and all those things. So, worst case scenario. We've said from the beginning the bicentennial is bigger than any of us individually. So, worst case, one of our owners of a particular day is unavailable for whatever reason, we have backup people that will be able to step in and carry on with that celebration, because the celebration of 200 years of Connersville history is going to go on in spite of what happens with any of us as individuals. So we're working on those plans pretty much right now. On the financial side, if you look at our financial statement, which I believe you also have that packet that was, this was just finalized. These are figures as of the end of the first quarter, March the 31st. Pam Parrott is our primary treasurer, so these are her figures. And let me get on the right thing so I can talk to you about it. Yeah. You notice if you go to second page of that report, there's actually 2 figures that are probably most interesting. The bank statement showed a balance on March the 31st of $134,647.79. However, we had some checks that we know are in the mix, outstanding checks. So the actual cash on hand as of the end of the quarter, $126,992.74. Again, we are still involved in some fundraising. We still have money that is earmarked. It's not in our account yet. We feel quite comfortable at this point in terms of funding versus what we are committed to. Questions? And there's several pages there supporting documents along with this. Questions about the financial side?
I would kind of suggest to the board that you take this report each month when we get it, put it in a special file. The city of Connersville is responsible if they overspend, and so it'd be our responsibility and the city council's responsibility to keep an eye on this. Julie and I serve intermittently on the finance committee, and we meet with the budgets. We'll meet again tomorrow morning, so we're aware of what's going on and what's been approved and not approved. Any questions on the financial report for today? Anybody at all?
I would like to make one comment along those lines. We know that, yes, the city is ultimately responsible if we overspend. But we have 9 members on that budget committee. All are committed, first of all, to a very high-quality celebration, but we're also just as committed to this community and our obligation to stay within our means. So, I'll be honest, I work with these figures all the time. A lot of this is the financial part of it. I do not see a scenario whereby we overspend. We've got too many people in our committee that are watching this closely and all have that goal. You know, it's not our goal to spin the city into the red. And with the figures that we're working with and the controls that we have in place, Ed and I discuss this all the time. We do not see that happening. It would take a cataclysm that's beyond reason, I think. So I want to assure you that we take that responsibility extremely seriously. And the mayor's on there, so if something goes wrong, it's all his fault.
It usually is. Okay, you've heard the financial report. What's your pleasure?
I move that we accept it as so stated, and I think it's an excellent report, very well done, very definitive, and just an excellent job.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Now you can either take
Either
Jane or
one.
Ronnie, whichever one you want.
There she writes it down.
Do I have a roll call vote since we're talking about a lot of money?
Jane Oakley,
Yes.
Fran Schomel,
Yes.
Leonard Urban.
Yes.
Mike Bishop,
Yes.
Ron Coldiron.
Yes.
Well, we're good till May, and then we only got about 2 after that, we'll be done.
It's coming fast. Ed, what was the count this morning?
Below 70 yet? How much?
No, not quite. We've got a countdown clock. Forgot to look. It's low 70s, the number of days till the beginning of the celebration. We started out with almost 1,000. We're down to
Yeah.
72 or 3.
This will go before the council tonight.
Yeah.
Also,
If it's okay, I would like to make 2 requests that you do not have in your packet of information, but it relates to the bicentennial. The first one relates to the parade day, which is July the 6th, and the parade route. And this information is new as of last Friday. The police chief, fire chief, Ed and I, and Lynette Eklund, who is our parade person, met in this room to go over what we felt like was the best parade route. That was a very good meeting. I appreciate the input from everybody that was there, and we think we have a good plan. I would like to bring that before the board now. July the 6th, which is Saturday, that's the second Saturday of our 10-day celebration. The start time was 11 a.m. We are estimating that the parade duration will be approximately 2 hours. I will give a copy of this to Julie when I, or Mayor, when I get finished.
You want to give a copy to her, and then she'll get it to all the board.
Okay. So just kind of picture this in your mind. The start location would be Grand Avenue in front of Grandview School. Everybody got that in your mind? Staging areas would be Kmart parking lot, and that's already gotten permission to do that. The 14 acres, the Roberts Park, parts of it, and 27th Street between Park Road and Grand Avenue. So we're expecting a lot of major floats, something we haven't seen in this town probably at least back to '63, along with horse units and everything else. So all those staging areas I just described are where these things will set up, and then at the appropriate time we'll start moving toward that start position on Grand Avenue. The actual parade route, Grand Avenue starting again at Grandview School, south on Grand Avenue to 9th Street, which would be the library corner. At that corner, turn east onto 9th to Central Avenue. Then turn south on Central to 5th Street. West on 5th Street to Grand Avenue. That'd be taking us past the north side of the city parking lot, over to Grand. Then north on Grand Avenue to Western Avenue, that's where it was, in front of Reedman Motors, so we would be taking the Western Avenue Y off. North on Western Avenue to 24th, and then east on 24th Street, back to Park Road and back into the Kmart lot where the folks will be torn down and such. We are really happy with this route, and that all these people, we know we've got some major units coming from out of town, so where they stage seemed like the appropriate place to end them back up so they can tear down and be ready to leave town. And I'd like to say, by the way, one more paragraph down here, street closures and parking restrictions under the direction of the Connersville Police Department and with cooperation of the Connersville Fire Department and EMS. I'm tickled to death to be able to say to you that our police chief was part of this conversation the other day, and I think he's happy with this route. True. Our fire chief back there, I think, is also satisfied with this route. So it's an example of I think everybody's happy with this, and we're just ready for a big parade on that day. So I would ask that you folks approve that route as our official bicentennial parade route.
I think since the police and the fire and everybody agrees to it, I don't think we have a problem with it. Do I have a motion?
So move.
I should ask, is there any questions, discussion? Got a second?
Second.
It's a large route.
Any discussion?
Take a long time. You estimate the time 2 hours?
Yeah. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Got that done.
Okay, the second one, strangely enough, involves money. Well, if you remember back a long time ago, and I don't even remember how long.
Comes back to money, right?
We go back to 3 years starting all this process, but at some point the city agreed to do 3 draws against the riverboat funds to provide some of the funding for the bicentennial.
That has nothing to do with this group.
Does not.
That's council.
Well then, see, I don't need to do that.
Yeah, this council can't appropriate money. They can transfer, but they can't appropriate.
Well, maybe they want to pull their checkbooks out. Like
Is there anybody want to do that?
How about the next group?
I don't see any volunteers.
Yeah, I didn't see any pins.
What you need to do is present that tonight. The council will put it up for a public hearing for their first meeting in May. We'll have a public hearing in May, and that check then could probably be drawn at the second meeting in May. All right? Okay. We just want to get it. Second meeting. Yeah.
We just want to get it in the works. You know what that is, too many meetings, and I said from the beginning, I'm not a politician, so I forget which group we go to what with. Hey, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
Okay, you got 3 transfers in here. You all had plenty of time to study in the clerk. 2659, 1200 from fringe to unemployment in the motor vehicle, and 5,000 in EMT drivers to holiday pay in first aid. I'd like to just take all 3 of those same time if we can.
I move we accept Resolution 2013, 16, 17, and 18.
Second.
Any discussion on those? I think it's quite evident what we're doing here. Sometimes we run out a little bit here, we gotta borrow from this group to that group to pay. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, we have a kind of a complicated thing that came up here at the last minute. I'll try to make it as clear as I can. A company came forth through the state, had some jobs and wanted to pursue it using the Vistion plant. It wasn't a real hot lead, and some information was sent out through economic development on the lead. I had a whole series of phone calls at home and different places, mostly on my cell phone, and I ended up talking to a site consultant and a real estate person in the state where this company's located. I wasn't sure who we were dealing with for a while, but at the present time, we're both dealing with the site consultant and the real estate person, both. They have now got together. We have now worked with the state of Indiana. We've had a visit from this company, had come here last Thursday. We spent the entire day with them. We had lunch with them. And at that point, they told us that we got in the game late. When we showed them the building, there were roof leaks and there was some water on the floor. The building didn't show well. They told us all this. And we went in, and I think you were in the meeting. I don't know if there's anybody else here that was in that meeting. But anyway, we did have the President of the County Commissioners, the President of the County Council, the City Attorney. We had a representative of IEDC. We had the Clerk Treasurer, myself, representative of your City Council. Each one of those persons spoke. We had a great meeting. And I'm told that on the way back to Indianapolis, that the Vice President of this company told the site consultant, maybe we can make this work in Connersville. And we received a call that evening that they were going to probably pursue it. Well, they did, and so on Saturday, well, first of all, I got an email telling what we had to do to be eligible for this to happen. One of the things they wanted done was the roof problem, and they don't need the power plant or the waste treatment plant at the Vistion, and it is shut down and has since frozen burst anyway. So they suggested that we look at salvaging those two parts of the Vistion building, only the metal, not, we can't disturb the concrete or the what's up there. That's against IDAM rules. We'll have to get IDAM permission for that. But if we could salvage that, how much money would the city come out with to put into the roof problem? So immediately I got a hold, I knew you guys would want 2 quotes, possibly 3, but it's hard to get quotes here that quick on salvage because there's not many people in our area to do it. We have one local person, Integrity Metal, and then we have Randy Neal, I don't know what he calls his company, up in Newcastle. And so
Neal Metal Recycling.
What's it called?
Neal Metal Recycling.
Neal Metal.
Neal.
Okay. I immediately contacted them, and they were good enough this morning to come in, both companies. Spent the morning up there with David Job, went over it, and they have got quotes. It's not a sealed bid thing that we have to take bids. It's quotes, but to be fair, I didn't open them or look at them. I got them here. So what I'm asking you is tentatively, I'm not saying we're going to do it, to be able to present to this company and say, if you choose Connersville, Indiana, we could do this for you. We could salvage all this and use this money to repair that roof. I don't know if it'll be like spitting in a pond or whether it'll be a lot of money or that'll help us because I don't know what's in here. On the other hand, I need you also to okay the agreement that I asked Mr. Baker. And again, Mr. Baker had to prepare this agreement today because we didn't know until Friday that we were in the running. This is a tentative agreement saying that we got the jobs on the back here, we got the jobs and the investment. This is not a public record because it's a proposal to the city. This is a public record. I need permission to pursue this in this manner. Now there's going to be a lot of tweaking to it, and Mr. Baker's going to have to put a lot of legal jargon to it, but this is what we would be proposing to them since they want the proposal by this week. Wednesday is what they told me. Just before the meeting started today, I have been told that the CEO of this company plans to visit Connersville this week. So everything looks good for us, but I need your permission to move forward with these things. So I'm going to open this up to questions first before we get into, and then we'll open these 2 bids on the demolition and trying to raise some money up there. So go ahead. I guess I'm the only one here you could ask questions to. Go ahead.
So we're responsible for the roof. if we're selling the building?
By doing what we're doing, it's an incentive to them to be able to put this money in to help them with the roof.
Okay.
It's part of our incentive is the building, which we would sell in lieu of jobs, and then the helping them fix the roof. I missed a part. Part of that, besides asking us about the roof, they wanted to know if we could get a professional opinion on the roof. And I was lucky enough, Friday afternoon, I got a hold of
Tim O'Rourke.
Tim O'Rourke and Mark Flaw. They spent Sunday on the roof, and Tim O'Rourke worked there 17 years, and he knows that roof. And it's not as bad as we thought. It's the old, where the railroad comes in that's leaking bad. It never was replaced. The rest of the roof's in pretty good shape, but the buildings where they've been put together and added on have pulled apart because of the cold and no heat in there. And that's where we're getting our leaks. And then there were things taken off of the roof when they moved out of there, that the holes weren't filled in, and we didn't know that. Or if they did, they didn't fix the flashing back. So we'll have a report today from a professional reporter on that roof. This stuff, the professional report, and all the environmental information will be put in a package and given to this company. So if they choose us, then we'll have to get into this real deep and make this happen. But I can't send this up there and tell them it might happen unless I got your approval.
I have a couple questions.
Go right ahead.
Are they expecting it to be 100% leak-free?
No.
Okay.
They're going to take care of that. I mean, they're going to, once they move in, they only want 500,000 square feet to start with, which they would go in the north end where Carbon had it all plasticed off. Then they would gradually move into the rest of the building. They're also willing to share the building. We have another company that just as soon as they accept us, we will give them the name of the other company that they might share with. Julie, you were at the meeting. Have I missed anything?
I don't think so.
I'm old and I forget.
So the second question, excuse me, the buildings we're going to take out the water towers, we're going to take out the waste treat, we're going to take out the fire station. What about the scrap building? Is that going to stay? I think we've got that rented or leased.
Yes, no, it stays. The big gray building stays, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that'll all be gone, right? I mean,
all but the scrap building. The scrap building's rented to SAPA.
Okay.
And they're going to honor those leases. That's not a problem.
Good.
When we tear that, when we dismantle all that, do we have to do the landscaping and put it back, or are they going to
No,
accept
there'll
it?
be no concrete removal. It'll just be the metal and scrap. All the concrete will be there. The walls will be there, the cement block walls. If that needs to be, the concrete walls or the block needs to be taken down, we'll do that ourselves. And we'll salvage the block. This is just salvageable stuff.
Yeah.
There's a few exceptions that I'm going to allow the city to take the fittings and keep those. There's a lot of water fittings and stuff like that up there that I told the street department and the parks department that they could keep. It's just repair stuff, brand new repair stuff.
Sure.
And I talked with both of the consultants here. That cabinet that's back in the back is full of water pipe fittings, which we need all the time. We're not letting that go. I don't know if I told you or I told him.
Is there
You know what I'm talking about?
No, but I'm sure we can look at it.
It's just little 1-inch nipples and O-rings and stuff that we use all the time.
Okay.
I haven't been in there lately, Your Honor, but is there anything in the waste treat plant that we could use at our waste treat plant, such
yes.
as pumps and what have you?
There's a generator, a Kohler generator in the waste treat plant that could be used either at the fire station or it could be used, I think that's where we were needing one. And I didn't talk to that goes with the building, so we'll have to talk to them about that. But when we get down to the nitty-gritty, we can negotiate that and take it off their quote if we want to keep it. Are you both fair? You both are here. You're representing Integrity Metal.
Yes.
And I didn't know you were representing.
Neil Metal Recycling.
Okay, okay.
Well, I think it's great. Let's jump through the hoops that we have to. And
We're being very, very careful because we don't want to get tied up. John, can you add anything?
Well, yeah, what this contemplates or anticipates is hopefully we will be selling the building in exchange for jobs. That's the idea. And the sales price is set out in the resolution, which has been the one we've talked about for the other companies several times, at a $4 million, but that will abate over in the amount of 20% per year for a period of 5 years, based upon the performance of the company regarding the number of jobs they've projected to add each year and the projected capital investment that they would spend each year. So it's conditioned on this Exhibit A, which was attached to the resolution.
I'll go ahead and read this. In the year of 2013, this is the year we end, they proposed to put 72 jobs in there, putting $2,059,200 into the economy. 2014, they're going to add 110, which would put $3,146,000 into the economy. 2015, they would put 182 jobs, $5,205,200. 2016, they would jump up to 267, which would put $7,636,200 into the economy. In 2017, they would put 8,309 jobs, 8,837,400. Now, that's as far as they go. We have talked with the consultant, we've talked with the vice president, the principal will be here probably this week. They're talking probably, and they said that this CEO is very conservative. This is a very minimum. The site consultant and the person that's going to do the work, the vice president, feels like in 10 years they'd have 1,000 people working up there because they're going to make this their headquarters to do this whole thing. They are already in business with 2 companies. This isn't a startup company. They're going to put this amount of equipment in. In 13, they're going to put $1,962,000 in equipment. In 2014, $537,000. In 2015, $1,133,000. In 2016, they're going to put $1,333,000 in. In 2017, they're going to put $1,084,000 into the building. A total of $6,046,000 over the 5 years. What your agreement's going to be, if they do this, they get the building at $1.
Well, the amount of the purchase price would abate to the extent of 20% per year over a period of 5 years if the above referenced yearly job and investment levels are met.
They have to meet this level or better. Otherwise, they owe the city what percentage is left, okay?
On the abatement of the 4 million, that transaction still, does it go through a realty, a real estate? Will there be realty fees, or that's just the?
No, we did this all on our own.
Okay, so there's
no real estate agent in this at all.
Okay.
This company wasn't even heard of until last week. I mean, our real estate commitment ended the day after Easter, and I didn't start dealing with this company until it's about a week ago, didn't it? Yeah?
Yep.
Nothing to do with it.
No, not at all. Not even close.
Well, where I was going with that was if there would have been a realty involved, then someone would have had to do a percentage of realty
There's no realty
for holding, so that's basically.
If they're only going to use part of the building, who has the say over the rest of it? Us?
They do. They do. They'll take responsibility. They're buying the building up front.
Okay.
They're buying it for $4 million, and this is their payments to us. If they make all the payments, they get it. If they're short 2 payments, they owe us 40%.
But
if they're short 1 payment,
but if they meet these goals, they get it free, right?
Yeah.
The building's free.
That's what they're paying for it by this investment.
Okay.
And if you add the 8 and the 6 together, that's what they're adding into Connersville's economy.
That will bring in some taxes, I think.
Oh, tremendous. Yeah.
Would help a lot.
Plus the tax of the building. Remember, this don't include the building.
That's right.
Plus the maintenance of the building.
Now, they have asked for an abatement on the improvements they make to the building.
That's no problem.
Well, that's a TIF area anyway, isn't it?
They don't ask for a TIF. They can either have a TIF or an abatement. They've asked for an abatement.
Okay.
A TIF would cost us money.
Okay.
This is prolonging when they start paying taxes.
Okay.
And this is
And
preliminary.
that would be a preference in, as far as your viewpoint, doing maintenance rather than a TIF, right?
Do we have, if they want to make improvements to the building, do we have a say on how much they can spend?
They have to spend this much. This is part of our agreement. No, they can spend more if they want to, but they have, this is part of our agreement. This is what they agreed to
They
put
have to stay
in.
within the confines of this piece of paper, no matter how much improvement they make to the building.
They can make as much as they want. That's why they want to own the building. They plan to make big improvements.
Good.
They also have the right to sublease, and just as soon as they pick us, we will give them the name of the other company that wants to go in there. And they said they're willing to work with them.
As far as this salvage part, basically that's just for us to help get this roof started. We don't know when
And
it's
we
gonna
don't need
finish.
this.
or-
This is something we got, we don't need, and it's deteriorating.
Yes.
And I'm afraid we're gonna have thievery, and I wanna move it on. And it's no good to anybody, really. I mean, we've all been up there. It's no good to anybody. I think you'll both testify, what we're gonna salvage is no good to anybody, only to salvage and melt down. There are a few good things in there, and that's it.
Again, the total acreage involved, Mr. Baker, is?
186 acres.
Yeah,
How much?
186 acres.
it's quite large.
Yeah.
40 acres under roof.
Try walking it every day and you'll see how big it is.
Yeah. Try walking it in the dark with water on the floor.
I've been there too.
Or in the middle of the winter, I've done it time after time. I'm ready to quit walking it.
You want a motion, Your Honor?
I just want you to feel comfortable with this before we do any motions here.
Well, let me point out a couple things. This is, the Board of Works is agreeing in principle to this concept. And, of course, we would have to negotiate a sales contract. I mean, that would come, if you agree in principle that this type of an arrangement is satisfactory. And then you'll see the last whereas there. I think it's important to take note of that because it anticipates that the contract is subject to further negotiation, and you need to give us authority to enter into further negotiations with the company and to report back to the Board of Works on the progress of the negotiation.
Well, this sort of like the agreement we had with Carbon, if they fulfilled a certain employment rate, they would get the building?
But this one, Fran, has time limits and money limits.
It's got
There's no-
benchmarks.
The other one was open-ended and
Oh,
it
okay.
kind of was not
This is
the best.
existing.
This one here has
says that.
time limits and money limits.
Well, the other problem was we were held captive to the federal government's making a loan within an undisclosed period of time. No one knew how long it would take. All we had was estimates, which were, guesses at best, I think.
So
And,
we learned from that experience.
Well, this
Yeah.
this company has the money to move forward. They're not depending on a government loan. They're
Yes.
not depending on something. The only thing we're putting
That's
in this, we're putting in scrapping part of this building to help fix the roof, and we're putting the building in order to get this, what is the total investment? $14 million
15
over
million.
5 years.
15 million.
$15 million over 5 years.
I think it's great. I mean,
I think this projected timeline here with figures and employment is commitment.
And like I say, they have told us, the man that came down said this company works very, very conservatively, that it easily could be, and I emphasize the could be. At the end of 10 years, 1,000 jobs up there and be their main headquarters. We listened to all what they plan to do in the future, and what they are already doing is just great. I wish I could tell you all about it, and we will someday. What do you think?
And what they've done, yeah, in the past.
They've been very successful. This is a very successful company.
It'll probably be on Facebook this
Well,
afternoon.
It better not
You know, I'd like to make note here that the benchmark for this year that we're
Just
in
leave it alone.
is at least 72 jobs and over $2 million investment on their part.
That's great.
And that's this year. I mean, they're committed
Right now.
this year.
Yeah.
There were three
I like that.
on this one.
well, I like the fact they're not depending on government loans. Because
Yeah, I'd like to approve this first part of it, and then we'll go into this demolition thing.
I'm ready to approve whatever you want to approve.
You approve this agreement here.
Approve this you want to read the resolution?
we did there.
2013-19, and then we'll act, is that what you want to act on?
Yes, that's what I'd like to act
Okay,
on.
let's read it.
I'll let you read it. You're the radio announcer. Go right ahead. You do it. You have that golden voice. Go ahead, John. Fran.
Okay, a resolution number 2013-19, a resolution of the Board of Public Works and Safety of the City of Connersville, Indiana, regarding the Vistion Building. Whereas it is the desire of the Board of Public Works and Safety of the City of Connersville to promote economic development, and in particular, to offer the Vistion Building for use by a manufacturing company to provide jobs for the citizens of the community, and in further to promote an economic development project pursuant to Indiana Code 36-1-11-4.2. And whereas the Board of Public Works and Safety agrees in principle to enter into the following agreement with an unnamed company for the sale of the Vistion Building, to wit, the City of Connersville, the city, agrees to enter into a sales contract with the company, whereby the city will sell the Vistion Building to the company on a real estate contract if the company meets the yearly projected new employee jobs and the yearly projected capital investment amounts set on Exhibit A and attached hereto. And whereas the real estate contract sale price will be $4 million, which amount will abate in the amount of 20% per year over a period of 5 years, from 2013 to 2017, if the company meets the above referenced yearly job and investment levels. If the company fails to meet said levels in any given year, then the 20% of the sales price will not be abated for that year, and said amount will be due and payable to the city. If the company meets the projected new employee jobs and projected capital investment amounts for each year for 2013 to 2017, the city will convey the Vistion Building to the company by warranty deed for nominal consideration. And whereas it is understood by the Board of Public Works and Safety that the sales contract agreement is subject to further negotiation, and the mayor and the city attorney are authorized to enter into further negotiations with the company and to report back to the Board of Public Works and Safety on the progress of the negotiations. Adopted by the Board of Public Works and Safety of the City of Connersville this blank day of April 2013.
Any questions?
No.
I'm ready for a motion, and if you're comfortable.
I'll make the motion that we approve Resolution 2013-19.
And I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Anybody out there like to ask a question? The press? None appearing. Have a roll call vote. Very important vote today.
Jane Oakley,
Yes.
Fran Schomel.
Yes.
Leonard Urban.
Yes.
Mike Bishop,
Yes.
Ron Coldiron.
Yes.
Okay, you have unanimously passed this resolution, and we'll pursue it. So with that, as I told you, a part of that is to allow a salvage company to do this. Now, this will not happen on salvage until we know that the company has selected Connersville. We're not going to go up there and get salvage without knowing what we're doing. I have 2 quotes here today, and I told both companies I want to be fair about it. So I'm taking them in a sealed quote fashion. The first one is from Integrity Metal. Would you like to read that, Lord Treasurer, to us? Read the entire quote, if you will.
Integrity Metals is willing to offer $75,000 for the demolition project that David Job described at the former Vistion property. This quote will include the demolition and removal of all metals. The concrete slabs and block and trash will be left on the property. Integrity Metals will be exempt from all environmental liability during this project. The City of Connersville will be responsible for all hazardous materials, including but not limited to oils, chemicals, drums, asbestos, and unclean tanks. All power and gas would need to be certified that it has been disconnected from the demolition areas. Integrity would supply the city with the current certificate of insurance and a time frame for the project once an agreement is made. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. Look forward to hearing from you. Brian Carter, Operations Manager.
Okay. Brian, before we go to the next one, is there anything you'd like to say about that? You want to come forward? Or
No.
everything's okay?
Yep.
Okay.
What exactly are those salvageable areas again? that we're
It's the old waste treatment plant, not the scrap building, the big gray building that we're renting.
Okay.
Everything east of that scrap building, the big tanks, it is the power plant where the boilers are. It is not the propane tanks.
Okay.
It is not the fire suppression system that has the big tank. Okay.
It's from Neil Scrap Metals, LLC. This proposal is for the purchase demolition of the building located the specified above location. Proposal includes cleanup of the location, concrete slab and foundation to remain. The City of Connersville is responsible for any and all necessary permits. Randy Neal will pay for the cost of the asbestos inspection. The City of Connersville will be responsible for any environmental issues that arise from the demolition of the building. All debris will be hauled to a sanitary landfill site. This proposal is valid for a term of 30 days. A certificate of insurance is available upon request and payment to be rendered at time of acceptance. The total proposal is for $53,000. That's for the sewage treatment plant. For the power plant, proposal is for the purchase demolition of the building located specified above location. This proposal includes cleanup of the location, concrete slab and foundation remain. It's actually all the same as the first one. All debris will be hauled to sanitary landfill sites, certificate of insurance, and that proposal is $32,000.
Add the two together and tell us where we are.
It's $85,000.
$85,000.
One's 85, what's the other one?
75.
And which is which?
Neil is 85.
Okay. $10,000 difference. Are we bidding apples to apples? Both of you are here.
Pretty close, except we employ 35 people here and pay taxes here.
Would you like to come to the podium, please? You can't be heard on TV or any place sitting back there.
Just briefly, I guess, the difference, I guess, between the two companies is $10,000 for an out-of-town company. The difference, $75,000 for us. We've got 35 employees here.
Could you give your name and?
I'm Brian Carter from Integrity Metals. I'm one of the owners.
Thank you.
We do pay a lot of sales tax. We have a lot of employees that pay it forward in this town. Our customers pay it forward in this town. So that's up to you guys to make the decision on the $10,000.
Would you like to speak on behalf of your company?
No.
Okay. There, it's before you. That's what you get the big bucks for, making the big decision.
Are you in a position to actually award anything today before we know where we're going with the company?
I need to know how much money to tell the company we can put into the roof. That's what I need to know today.
Yeah.
I need to be able to, and when we present this package this afternoon, we're gonna have to get this package ready and send it out. They intend to make their decision this week. I have to be able to say, yes, we can do this. This is how much money you will get toward the roof. This is a commitment on the Board of Works to say, this is how much they're gonna get for the roof.
Well, I thought that there was gonna be some salvage involved.
This is, they get the salvage and they pay the city, this is the money over the salvage that they get.
All right, I didn't hear that in those at all. I didn't hear that the
they
city of
both
Connersville was
understand
gonna
that.
be paid anything.
They're gonna tear it down.
May I see them?
They tear down, they get everything, and that's what they gave us.
Well, that certainly makes sense, but I didn't hear it.
No, I'd like to say, I would be a little refrain from committing either one of the total of either one of these, because we might have some incurred expense here, but at least we know that we can commit, 50, 60,000 easy enough.
This would be a tentative commitment.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, it'd be a tentative commitment, and I think that would be very easy to do.
What we're trying to do here is put a incentive package together.
Yeah.
And we're using the salvage money as part of our incentive package, the building as our incentive package. The state, we just dealt with them this morning. This project was originally looked at real heavy in a northern county, and almost was ready to go there. The northern county jobs up there, they had more jobs. And the hedge fund that the state had promised, they didn't promise only about half in that county. We've been talking with the state this morning, because of our economy and because that we are so much below that and number one in unemployment, we're trying to talk the state into going 100% on the edge tax is what it's called. I forget what it stands for. It's called edge tax, economic distress. Well, anyway, that's what we're trying to talk them into. That's what the state is helping us with, plus training and maybe some moving expense. That's what the state. So what we're trying to do is put in a whole incentive package. Now that they have rejected the northern county, the state is working with us. Before Wednesday or Thursday last week, the state was just kind of like this, because they will not go against county to county. But once they said, in fact, they told that county, we're either going to go to a southern state, and they named the state, which I'm not allowed to name, or we're going to go to Fayette County. Now the state is with us, working with us. All this that I brought to you today is an incentive package, subject, this is kind of what we want to give you. Okay. It's not a positive science, as you know, you worked on it, you know how it is.
Well, I think it would be fair in saying that we could commit, and like I say, it's just in our proposal package, so it's not like we gotta go tomorrow and start tearing this stuff down on one way or the other, but we could commit a big percentage of either one of these packages and then decide. You see what I'm saying? If we committed 60,000 or if we committed 50,000 of either one of these bids to go on our packages, it gives us a pretty much a heads up on what we can do. Yeah.
I will know this afternoon when I get the report on not putting a new roof on the warehouse, but on fixing what needs to be fixed, where we are. I'm hoping that this is a big help toward fixing that roof. We have no other place to go to get money.
Yeah, I would think 50 or 60,000 would be, I mean, I have no idea either. It might come up with $250,000, I have no idea.
Just depends on how they do it. That's what.
But I would hate that.
I mean, you familiar with Mr. Rohr?
Oh, yeah, I worked with him.
Okay,
for 20
he knows
years.
the roof, right?
Like the back of your hand.
Okay, that's what he's telling me. Okay, he's telling me that. I have to believe. In fact, he's putting it in writing this afternoon. I'll either have it this afternoon or tomorrow morning.
The roof is tar and gravel is what it is, and it's in layers. So it's just depends on how much they want to spend. You understand what I'm saying?
I gotta make this incentive package look as good as you can let me make it look.
Do you want a motion?
Oh, I have to have a motion, yeah. Wait a minute, yeah.
No, I was just wondering, I like Ron's idea of committing a certain percentage.
The other way we could do it, Ron, is we'd say, this is the amount of money we're gonna come up with in the salvage of these two places, less our unforeseen expenses in doing away with some oil or some of this or some of this. We will commit all of this that we can to this project. They certainly understand that. And the fact that I think now we're going to get an opportunity to sit down in a room with the owner, I think we'll be able to convey this. But I really would like to make the incentive package look as good as possible.
Well, if the roof costs more than what these quotes we received?
Well, I know it will.
What where do we go?
Then it's their responsibility to fix it.
Oh, okay.
That's part of that commitment of money they're putting in.
All right.
That's the reason I asked Fran, depends on how much they want to put into the roof.
Okay. So we don't have to,
We're not gonna try to cough up more money we don't
Okay.
have it.
That's right.
okay,
That's right.
So I want to make it look like we're trying to help.
sure, sure.
The only way we had to help is in this manner, because these are things we don't need.
What do you think we should do?
You could do one of two things. You could pick one or the other, or we can leave them both together and table it, and by the next meeting, I'll know whether we get it or not, and you can make the decision then. I pushed these people, you know, they didn't know, he didn't know till Saturday morning, and you didn't know till Saturday afternoon to get me a quote. These have been wonderful people. They've
Sure.
spent the morning, and can you imagine going up there and trying to quote how much you're gonna get looking at it? I mean, it's
Will that have
a
any,
shot in the dark.
will that have any interference with what you want to put together in the package if we table
As
it?
long as you say that we can do this, one way or the other, and then you tell me how you want to do it next time. Is that okay with you two? You want a commitment today? You said your quote's good for 30 days?
Yes.
What's yours good for?
I'm negotiable.
30 days or more?
I'd give you a 60.
Okay.
I mean, it's pretty open.
Do you understand where we are here? We need to get every penny we can, because we're trying to make an incentive package just like you're trying to do.
Ma'am, you're shaking your head. Do you want a commitment today, or are you willing to wait?
No, I'm willing to wait. I would like to know today, but that's okay, I understand.
We'll use both of these quotes as a commitment, because both quotes say the environmental issues are ours.
We did that 3 weeks between meetings this time.
I may have to call a special meeting. I think they're gonna wanna know, these people,
Yeah.
when you see they wanna put 72 people and $1 million in there yet this year,
Yeah.
and the year's half over, they wanna move pretty quick.
Yep.
We may be wanting to take that down within 10 days here, we may be wanting to start. Well, one of you need to do is just jump up and say, I'll give $100,000. There would be no big decision here.
I
Anybody,
could go out and get on the phone, I guess, and I could try it.
anybody want to do that right now?
I'll match hers at 85.
What'd you say?
I'll match the 85,000 to keep it local.
That's fair.
Well, but we did take sealed bids, so I gotta be careful there. I mean, I gotta be careful what I do. John,
They were quotes, they weren't bids.
am I legal?
Yeah, as Jane just reminded me, their
They're
quotes,
Their quotes, they're not sealed bids.
not
right?
sealed
They're quotes.
bids, you're just asking for quotes.
Yeah.
Well, and in all due respect to both companies, Integrity is our hometown company. I mean, they do employ 35 people, and that's not a slam. I'm sorry, but you know, we do have to consider that.
Absolutely.
I think that's at $10,000, you have to consider
That
that.
comes into play, yes.
Yeah.
That's the only hesitance I
Yeah.
had in the whole thing, was it is a local, 35 employees, and if we're looking at a company
Yeah.
that's gonna invest in our community, they wanna see loyalty maybe on our part, that we're willing to be loyal to our local industry.
We can't
We've
overlook
invested
that.
$1 million in the last 12 months in
Yeah.
this city.
Yeah, yeah.
They've done quite a bit of investment.
Let's, I know where you wanna go. You wanna accept one of them, is what you wanna do. Let's take this under advisement, and I'll call a special meeting if it becomes necessary. I know what I need to know. I got an incentive package to put together.
Okay.
Okay?
That's good.
Unless you absolutely wanna make a decision today.
No. Do you need a motion to do that?
Yeah, I want you to make a motion that I can use these two quotes as an incentive package.
I will make that motion that you can use these two quotes as an incentive package.
I'll
Is that
second.
enough, John?
Yes.
I'll second.
Motion and a second, we'll have a roll call vote.
Jane Oakley?
Yes.
Fran Schulman?
Yes, yes.
Leonard Urban?
Yes.
Mike Bishop?
Yes.
Ron Coldiron?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, and thank you too so much. I
Thank you.
really do appreciate what you've done.
Thank you.
I mean, you took Sunday, you took Saturday, I know, I called you when you were on vacation. And I'm a,
When you're a business owner, you're always working.
I know that. I took my Saturday too, I know, I was in that building. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, and we'll be back to both of you. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, we're ready for you, Bill.
Is Bottom still here?
Oh, Bottomley, are you still here? I was supposed to take him first. Mike, what did he want?
Yeah,
Mike,
just
come
need
on up
something
here.
real quick.
I promised him I'd take him first.
2 hours later.
And I forgot all about it.
I just know the parade route, not as long as the other. But we're gonna stop by Friday, let me know the parade route, and I need to get it approved. So Saturday, April 27th. They're gonna line up from it's the same route they've always taken, in front of the Canal House, 4th Street and Central. Starts at 9 o'clock, it will go down Central Avenue to 8th Street, turn right towards Eastern Avenue, crossing Eastern Avenue on Charles Street, continuing into Babe Ruth Complex on opening day ceremonies.
Is that this Saturday?
No, 27th, the following.
Saturday.
Who's gonna walk with me in that parade? I always have to walk in the front of me. Someone wanna volunteer?
Just ride in the police car.
Yeah.
The mayor always walks. Can't be a baseball.
I'm on vacation.
You're on vacation.
The weather's not bad for that, Mike.
How far is
Always
it?
rain.
I was gonna say.
Canal House,
Wayne, you wanna
4th
walk
Street
with
to
me?
My
8th
daughter
Street.
graduated from
4
school
blocks,
that
go
night,
down.
or that day. I'm not gonna miss her master's graduation.
I don't believe you. Brad, you're a walker. You can come down and
I'll
walk
walk
with
with
me.
you if you're.
I'll walk
you
with
know,
you, Mayor,
Right.
if I'm
9
able.
o'clock
We'll
starts.
walk with you.
I walk every day.
It'd be nice to have a couple of board works in city council with
We don't have to
What
wear
time is
coat
the
and
parade?
tie.
I think we didn't get that time.
Starts at 9 o'clock.
Okay.
Melissa, put that, be sure Melissa's got that
When
in
is it,
my
Saturday,
April
27th?
April 27th. What time's it start?
I need a motion.
Starts at 9, doesn't it?
I'd make a motion to approve the parade route for the Babe Ruth parade, 27th of this month.
Is there a second?
I'm sorry, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Done. Anything
I
else?
might even
You waited
walk.
all morning for that, didn't you? Okay. How much time left, Bill? But
Late
I'm
for
for it.
How fast?
We'll try to be fairly quick. Get a couple housekeeping things out of the way first, I guess. Every year I get permission from this board to ironically sell some scrap and old stuff, so I need permission from this board to get rid of some of our old junk that we've got.
Can I have that money for the roof of this town?
I don't think we're allowed to do that.
Do you put that back in the general fund? Okay.
No, it goes to
Goes
the
in the utility
It goes
fund.
into utilities.
utility.
Into the utilities general, I mean, just,
How do you determine you take it down here and sell it?
We actually get quotes from, well, Richmond and here, and we have got quotes from Indianapolis, and,
You weigh it?
well, they'll quote us the price per pound on it.
Okay.
There's some brass and just old stuff.
So you need approval to sell obsolete, whatever.
It's just obsolete, scrap metal,
Old pipes?
just old pipes,
Stuff
old
like that.
manhole
Yeah,
lids
okay.
that are broken and that type of thing, so.
Okay, I'll make that motion. That's what we have to do.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
No, fine.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. That went easy.
I have a request from a person that's building a new house on 1710 West County Road 50, which is an extension of 12th Street, just right outside of the city limits. He's wanting water service there, so
Just water, no sewer, can't do.
there's no sewer available out there.
Well, the procedure on this, if we okay it, it goes to the city council, they approve it, and it's a done deal. I say we take everyone we can, we need
Sure.
water customers.
Absolutely.
I'll take a motion.
I'll make the
Do we
motion
have-
that we, go ahead, Jane.
I was gonna say, do we have an address or we just
Yeah.
use a number?
1710 West County Road 50 North.
I move that we do a water supply extension to 1710 West 50 North for a customer.
For a second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carried.
Just one announcement here about a couple of meetings that we've got coming up actually tomorrow. Our annual wellhead protection planning meeting and our annual MS4 meetings are going to be held tomorrow, starting at 9:30 and 10:30. So
I need somebody to represent us. I can't go to that. I got my hands full here. Can you represent us, Mike? Are you able?
I'll do my best.
Ronnie, did you want to, or?
No, that's fine. No, tomorrow's a
I've
pretty
done that
busy day for
before
me
for us.
tomorrow
I'll
already.
do it.
Mike will represent the board works if it's okay with you. Okay? Fran, if you
Yes.
wanna go,
Okay,
are you able?
I'm not sure.
Okay. You'll have representative.
What time is it, Bill? 9:30 and 10:30?
The first one starts at 9:30 and the second one is following that, which is about 10:30.
That's at your shop, right? Oh.
The utilities board. Next thing I have is actually a change order for the pumps down at the wastewater plant. We haven't got that project started yet, but we found out that some of the flow level sensors that they had designed were actually wrong. So we have since revisited that and we've changed what we want down there. So that's going to be an adder, which is change order number 1 for $824.10. A copy of that should be in the packet.
Okay, explain that to me a little bit, Bill.
Well, there's a little misunderstanding as to what some of the terminology is down there. We actually have an influent pit and a wet well, and our engineers kind of got them messed up. But they had designed originally the level to drive those pumps based off of our influent flow. Well, after we got to reviewing the plans and the submittals, we found out that that's not really the right place to track those pumps. It really needs to be down in the pit, which is our wet well. So it's just kind of an oversight on everybody's, I guess.
I need a motion to approve that change order and that add-on.
I'll make a motion to move that change order, and I will add, in support of Bill, I saw that wet well down there a while back, and I understand what he's talking about, so it's pretty.
That's why we got a good plumber on the board.
I'll second.
Are you a plumber?
Yes.
Are you licensed?
Since 1972.
Could you bring your number in sometime, please? Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So you just want me to sign this? It says owner?
I can sign them or you can, whatever. I've got 2 original ones here.
Okay. Move forward.
The last thing that I have is something that we need to talk about, which Grand Avenue project, again. NDOT and the Federal Highway Administration has come up with a new method for any projects that contain 10,000 square yards of asphalt. You know, they're the ones that fund these projects, and us being the LPA, we gotta go by their rules. And basically what that means is our consultants are gonna have to do more work to do an analysis on concrete versus pavement on these projects. Apparently, the Federal Highway has done a study where they can realize about a 9 or 10% cost reductions in these projects. So we're going to have to do that analysis regardless. I actually emailed Brett Waddy from NDOT for a little guidance on this and where I could find those documents because I couldn't find them. Well, he directed me to the documents stating the new rule, and I also asked him if, since this project was conceived back in 2006, if we could possibly get a waiver from that requirement, which they've denied. I got a hold of a couple other engineering firms and talked about it, and there's just no way around getting it done. But I think you've got a letter from Westler in your packet. Stating what needs to be done.
What's it cost us?
$22,900.
And here's something that I don't know, and maybe Julia will know, I haven't been able to find out. In this project, we can use so much of the money that we spend on engineering and stuff for our match money, which the last figure that I heard was $777,000.
Is what we can use or what we spent?
No, we haven't spent quite that much yet, but that's what we need to come up with as our portion of match money for this project. And honestly, Julie, I'm not sure where we're at. I know we just made a payment to them.
Yeah, we're not anywhere near close to that from what we've paid.
Right.
You guys haven't paid anything on that, have you?
Right. Well, I'm hoping that we can use, if we go with this agreement, that we can use that as part of the match money.
I think the last project we had that was a project like this, Bill, I think we're only allowed to use a certain
Certain
percentage
percentage
of our
of these. Yeah.
engineering cost, yeah.
I
I
don't know
think
how
that
to
whole
find that out.
project, it's only like 150,000 maybe on engineering. Where we're at right now.
Where'd they come up with the 22,900 to do this change order?
Yeah, is that because of NDOT?
Well, it's just new.
Or IDOT, I mean?
It's new requirements from NDOT.
Well, I know that, but what says it's 22,900 to do it? That's the same amount that they've been trying to get out of me for the last 6 months. That's just not another way to get it, is it?
I don't think so.
Well, it's explained here, all these items is added on here.
Yeah, when you got the feds
Well,
involved.
Can you take bids on doing this work?
We probably could take bids, but I don't know that we have time. We have to have our submittals in by May the 17th.
They know how to get my blood pressure up, don't they?
Well, I knew that it'd get your blood pressure up, but I don't know that I have any choice.
Fool the government, you don't have any
Always
choice.
find a way to get the money, don't they?
They're good at that.
Anytime in Washington.
You notice the way it's written? A lump sum in the amount of $22,900. It don't say so much an hour.
Yeah.
Or so much, and not to exceed. It
Yeah,
just says a lump sum.
A breakdown or.
Yeah.
Well, I think it gives you a breakdown. It says the following additional items must be completed, and that's what they're gonna charge us for.
I know, but how much are these items? How come it comes to 22,900?
Well, we've asked that question several times, Mayor, never got an answer.
I
feel the
have
same way
been
you
told
do.
by the other two firms that I talked to, that analysis with this MEPDG software is a specialty software that not too many engineering firms has that. So most likely, it'll be farmed out to a firm that does have that software.
Wow.
And I do know that that's the biggest portion of what they need to do.
But they don't even list that. They don't list that it's so much for this, so much for this. It's just a lump sum of $22,900. And we gotta get it done by May the 1st.
Yeah.
May the 17th, we gotta have all of our submittals in.
Here's a May 1 on here.
Who found out that this had happened? Who first called your attention to this?
Well, actually, Westlers did.
Yeah, I figured they would. My friends. Well, what's your pleasure, Warren, before I have a stroke?
I don't think we have a choice, do we, Bill?
I don't see a choice, but.
It's not, I agree with the mayor, they're just, sometimes I just, well, never mind.
And it, in all fairness to any firm, I mean, it's a relatively new requirement. It'd been nice if we'd have known about it sooner, because I think it's been on the books since about July of last year.
How come we didn't know about it sooner?
I can't answer that.
They're our representatives. They've been in on this project. They're the design for this project. What's your pleasure, Board?
So I understand, there's been engineering on the project already. This is kind of going into re-engineering because they've issued some sort of a mandate.
Yeah, how
over
much have they
2000.
got already on this project? I mean, how much have we paid Westler?
I think it's around $120,000.
So this is the Grand
So they-
Avenue final
As I
pavement
understand,
design.
they're requiring them to go through this software program. That sounds to me like that's basically where and if it's gonna be a third party involved in it, that's what it sounds like, anyway.
Your Honor, we have no choice but to approve this, but I think we ought to ask Westler for a breakdown of what each one of these items cost.
So this is to determine whether or not we use asphalt or concrete. Is that what it boils down to? That's the whole.
That's the whole thing. And it goes back to a study that was done
You need to know where the government's going to
for
broke.
Federal Highway that shows that they can save.
Don't they know which works the best from other?
You would think.
Because somebody new comes in
And then,
I think this is where we get their 22,000.
And then here's another thing on top of that. Once we go through this exercise and pay the money, if we can demonstrate to NDOT that we don't have the means to take care of a concrete road, we can appeal to them and maybe even go back to using pavement. So. That's the rules, I didn't make them.
Well, I think Mike's idea is good. We got a little bit of a breakdown. Have we got time?
No.
No, we don't have time.
I guess, what, a couple, 3 weeks away?
I'd just like to see, I don't care if they give it to us 3 months from now, I'd like to see what they're charging us.
I can certainly get that.
Some of this stuff is just, oh, never mind.
When you get,
I mean, it's just like a carte blank check, you know?
It's $22,900, the same amount of money they've been trying to get out of it for 6 months, okay? It's just another way of getting it, that's all it is.
You're right. I'm not arguing with you, okay?
I don't know what to do. If it's a mandated, I mean, how do you argue with that?
It's a mandate they knew about since last July, but they just bring it up 3 weeks before it's due.
our hands are tied.
And it just happens to be $22,900, isn't that strange? Well, if you guys want to
So
make
if
them,
we approve this, we're free and clear, and they can't come at you with another $22,900.
they probably will, eventually they'll find another reason.
They've done that before.
Oh, for 5, 6 years now. It's 15,000, it's 20,000, it's 23,000.
We can talk about this all day, but I'll make the motion that we grant this $22,900 for this Grand Avenue final pavement design to Wessler Engineering.
I'll second.
Have a roll call vote.
I don't have to agree with
Jane Oakley,
Yes.
Fran Showman.
Yes, I guess.
Leonard Urban,
No. Honestly,
Mike.
no.
Mike Bishop,
it. Yes, I guess.
Ron Goldine.
I'm gonna say no. No.
Smart man.
So we three have to pay it, is what you're saying?
No,
Oh,
you
okay.
three win the vote. Majority rules, it's 3-2, the vote passes, you pay our friends.
It isn't like we have a choice.
I don't think so.
You got anything else, Bill?
Nope, I think I've caused enough.
No, Job's got it.
Joe, come on forward. I forgot about you too.
When do the water bills increase?
This month, right, Bill?
The water bills, do they go up this by?
Second phase goes in this month,
I
right?
was thinking it was 1st of July.
I thought it was too.
I thought, yeah, first of June.
I can
first of
tell you
July.
by postponing it 6 months, it cost you, what, 160,000?
Yeah, about 160.
And by putting the sprinkling ordinance, cost you 40, and you drop back 200,000. We studied that last
All
week.
this.
Hello.
Don't be winking at me.
Good afternoon. As you see on your thing, I'm asking for a FMLA for Brian Ollett.
A week, isn't it?
No,
More than,
right, there's some issues coming in and just trying to cover our bases.
do you want to tell the board how long, or is
Well,
that
it's,
just
he wants to
indefinite?
take it a day at a time,
As needed per
as needed.
doctor.
That's federal law, isn't it?
Yes.
You have
Yes.
to grant that.
Right,
We have-
He's not paid for the time that he's
Right.
off, but
Right.
his
Keeps his
benefits
job.
continue.
exactly.
Is there a time he has to tell you so you know how short you will be, or what?
Yeah, he'll know a few days ahead of time as the doctor tells him.
And he's entitled to so many days.
Right.
Do you know what that is?
Not off the top, I don't, but yes.
FMLA is,
90 days?
I was gonna say 60 or 90.
Okay, let's get that on the table here so we can,
60 work days.
I presume we have to backfill this with overtime?
No.
Good job.
So we just have to approve the
yeah.
Yeah, just-
Family Medical Leave Act for Ryan Scott Pollock, the street department.
I have no motion.
I'll make that motion that the board approves the Family and Medical Leave Act for Ryan Scott Pollock.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
We're gonna pick up yard trash the first and third Monday of each month. We're gonna try that, if that's okay with the board. Everybody wanted it the first of the week so they could do their yard work on the weekend, and then we pick it up. We're gonna do it first and third Monday. I'd like to have a motion that you okayed that, because Joby and I made that decision without asking you.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we got that in the minutes. So it's a go.
We're already doing it.
I know.
Second.
We're supposed to have.
It's gonna work out.
Any old business?
You said you had to put it in bags, but can't you just bundle sticks together like you used to?
Right.
Oh,
Same
okay.
same rules as before.
Oh, okay.
You just can't fall a tree and ask us to come get
Right,
it for you.
but if
yeah.
you pick up sticks out of your yard from the
Exactly.
trees, you can just tie them together.
Any old
Okay,
business?
well,
Any miscellaneous business? Ron?
No, I don't think so.
Mike?
No, sir.
Graham?
no, I have none.
Okay. Claims?
Mayor, I got this, this building, you wanna talk about it?
Yes. That should have come on their old business. I think it's
Well,
3 years old.
I was kinda raising my hand up, but you didn't look at me.
I was looking up. I was praying to keep myself.
I got this, this paperwork, from, Fayette Circuit Court, and it was filed back in, June of 2010.
Wait a minute, let's make this perfectly clear. This is a decision that Fran becomes the chairman of the board. This is that building on 8th Street that borders
Yeah,
my
brick.
property.
Former apartment building, the
Yes.
brick building.
Yes.
Anyway, we have John found the paperwork that it's been approved to go ahead. It's
Right.
up to us what we want to do with it. I don't think we want to remodel the building, so there's probably not much left to do but tear it down. And if we tear it down, then it falls on the Board of Works of finding the money to do that. So-
Council.
Council.
Our council.
Do you have an estimate of what it might cost?
I have no idea. Probably anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000.
Probably.
So,
10 grand's usually about what we,
those 2-story brick buildings.
oh, it's brick.
Yeah, it's not a single.
Oh, I know, okay, yeah, you're probably closer to 15.
So I'll bring it to the council tonight and see what they say.
Did we find out who owns that building?
Yeah, the building is, yeah, I had it right here. Okay, Charles Martin and Curtis Blakely is who the judgment came on. And, John, or Mr. Baker, can you shed any light on this whole thing, and how this procedure works with, they've been sent letters in the past and all this, and they haven't done anything with the building or anything?
May I see the judgment I have?
Sure.
What's the address of that property, Dave?
It's 425 West 8th Street. It's around the curve.
Right, that's, let's see, that was June 2010, so Officer Hicks was doing the
Yeah.
enforcement work at that time. And he sent letters to the address of the owners at the last known address in the auditor's office, which is where the tax duplicates went to as well. And either they weren't responded to or they came back undelivered, but they were return receipt requested letters. And so since there was no response, they were given a period of time, which the ordinance provides that they needed to bring the property into compliance with the ordinance, and they were advised in the letters what the violations of the ordinance were. And so they didn't respond, so after a period of time, then we proceeded to, I prepared a complaint for preliminary and permanent injunction, requiring them to bring the property into compliance with the city ordinance, and on failure to do so, the court gave the city authority to bring the property into compliance with the city ordinance if possible, but if not possible, then to go so far as demolishing the property if necessary to bring it into compliance. So that's where we are now. That judgment was taken June 23rd, 2010. No action's been taken since then, primarily because of the lack of funds, I think.
Does it become a tax sale?
No.
The taxes are being paid on it then?
Oh, yeah, are the taxes being?
Not to my knowledge. Usually when we take judgments on these, they just take them out off the tax sale.
Oh. Okay, so you need to come to council tonight?
I'll come to council tonight and see what we can get done, and see what they want to do.
How many other ones do you have at same stage, ready for tear down?
I'm not too sure, Fran, at the same stage. I got a couple I need to do some action on with boarding a house up. And there's a house up on B Street that burnt. And it was unstable the way it was. So the street department went up there and pushed it all in one big rubble. And it's I've been getting a lot of complaints on it, but it needs to be cleaned up because it's a safety hazard. And also the house over, I've got a lot of houses like this, but the one in particular, a lady's been complaining about a lot, and it's an eyesore down Nickel and 2nd Street. And I believe it's 218, to be exact. I have to check homie on that, but it's right there in the corner, and it needs to be boarded up. And what the process needs to be, went ahead further through with this to, right now, just to make it a safe place where kids and animals can't get in there. But I don't know. I'd have to go through it all. It's so many of them. It's just I'd go and checking on all of them. So.
Well, this one's been on the books for 2 years, so
Yeah,
we
3
probably
years.
should give it priority, maybe.
So I'll bring it to the council tonight and see what the council's wishes would be.
They want to do.
Okay?
No, I don't know what bearing this has on this case, but if I'm not mistaken, one of these principals came before this board here, and I might be mistaken, but I think I remember one of the names, and we actually dropped some of the liens that was on another property that he had.
This guy, one of these guys?
I think so. Now, I want to do my history, but I seem like that name comes
On this
before.
piece of property?
Not on this piece of property. I think it was on another piece of property.
There's another individual here in town that owns like 30-plus properties. And there are so many judgments against that individual.
I don't think
and
that's
he's
the same.
totally,
Is it,
back when,
I don't think so.
pardon?
I don't, never mind, go ahead.
I don't, when he bought all these properties, there were rentals and stuff, and he worked at Ford and was knocking down a pretty good sum every year, and he could afford to do things, everything else, and of course, he got laid off, and he got on disability and all this, and he didn't have a chance to take care of all these properties anymore, so they've all, and a lot of the people who rented off of him abused the properties and everything else, and then he's got himself in a big mess. And anyway, he's got all kinds of judgments against him, foreclosures, bankruptcies, and everything else, and so, and the banks don't really want him, and they're sitting around this town, and in fact, the one that I'm talking about on Nickel and 2nd belongs to him. And so that's just one of the houses he owned, and some of them they hadn't been sold in the past or anything else, but the majority of them are still all over the place, and they're just like the one that, well, some of them were worse. That's one of the worst ones. But I've got his name everywhere, so I'll get with you later after and tell you about it.
Okay. Thanks, Dick.
Okay.
Dave, we'll see you tonight at the council meeting, and we'll bring it up then.
Okay.
You done with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, back to our regular business, our claims.
You want utilities? Water's $88,391.87. Sewer, $114,816 and a penny. Stormwater is $7,170.03. Trash, $53,638.89, for a total of $264,016.80.
Okay, the city claims $296,694.15. That's it.
We've heard the claims. Is there any discussion on the claims?
I move we approve the claims as they've been submitted.
We have a motion on the floor to approve the claims as submitted.
Second, please.
And seconded. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Jane Oakley?
Yes.
Fran Schomel?
Yes.
Leonard Urban?
Yes.
Mike Bishop?
Yes.
Ron Coldiron?
Yes.
You have approved the claims. Before we adjourn, you all stay around long enough to sign both of these resolutions. I have to get them in the mail, okay? Please, it takes all signatures. Unless there's something else, I have to take a motion to adjourn. I know Jane's got to get to work.
I'll make the motion we adjourn.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Jane, you will sign.